Hey there, welcome back to Tempting Fate Tours. Or, if you're joining us for the first time, welcome. In this episode, we do something we think is kind of special. We take John's 1949 Morris Minor, the one with only 19,000 miles, back to the factory that built it, 75 years to the week after it rolled off the production lines and was immediately put on a ship to be sent away to North America to earn money for England. Well, sort of. When we last left you, Tom and John were about to fly back to the States. After many hundreds of miles, in Tom's 1955 Woody Wagon barn find and John's 1949 minor lowlight. We drove through the Netherlands, a bit of Germany. It was all on the infamous Miners on Tour adventure. We made it to the ferry to get us to England. We put the cars onto British soil for the first time in 7 decades.
50 feet at the roundabout, take the first exit onto the A12 ramp to London.
And ultimately stashed them in hidden garages in London, courtesy of our friend Darren. If you haven't seen the full series of episodes, we built a playlist with all of them. Just go to Tempting Fate Tours homepage on YouTube. Okay, so back to our factory visit. This one's all John, as unfortunately, Tom had prior commitments at home he just couldn't dodge. Sorry about that. The guy who actually knows which end of the wrench to hold will return shortly. Instead, we recruited our friend and fellow Morris anorak Richard. We planned that he'd drive his 1953 minor van from Somerset to Oxfordshire to meet us. It's just as slow as Tom's car, but it's a lot less comfortable, and it has a lot less outward visibility. Yay! The distance for Richard was 93 miles. The time was about 2 hours plus stops. As he said later, 2 very slow hours. Meanwhile, John had to drive the 1949 minor from southeast London to Oxford. The distance was only 63 miles, but weekday London rush hour traffic meant it took a lot longer than Richard's trip that was half again as long. The map suggested 3 hours or more, due to delays, congestion, and roadworks. The car's very, very, very low first gear, think tractor, proved well suited for that kind of stop-and-go traffic, actually. And the long pauses meant passers-by could give us thumbs up or yell their approval. Thank you. Once they figured out John was on the wrong side of the car anyway. Still, 25 miles through tight, stop-and-go, congested, sporadic London traffic on the wrong side was a bit of a challenge. Maybe we're wimps, but after the third near miss with a white transit van, we were tired, and that was about 12 minutes in. We did get to cross the Battersea Bridge over the Thames River, and eventually, after the first 90 minutes or more, traffic started to open up. The rest of the trip included what the British called B roads, and Americans would call country lanes with no shoulders whatsoever. We did make it, eventually. Drove into what's now called Mini Plant Oxford, and lo and behold, there was Richard's green van waiting for us. We'd previously texted with Ben Woodward Harris at BMW PR, who very kindly arranged for us to photograph the cars in front of the red brick wing of the Mini Visitors Center, the only part of the site preserved after BMW sold off all of Rover in 1995 except the Mini brand. Mini's got a brand new factory, but they kept some of the old pre-war brick buildings for heritage reasons, to show what it used to be like. This is sort of where we have to fess up. The actual physical Cowley plant, where John's car was built, along with almost all the rest of the miners over 23 years, was torn down in 2001 and 2002, after building cars for 70 years. But that site is now an industrial estate, Sic Transit Gloria Mundi. The mini plant, across the dual carriageway, as the Brits would say, was as close as we were going to get. We took Ben for a ride in the 49 car, and rather to our surprise, he absolutely loved it. In fact, we got on video a comment that we trust Ben's superiors at Mini and BMW will never, ever hear.
Who needs speed and power? It's just incredibly vulgar, I think. Much more fun.
That this time I got you on the speaker set.
Next week, in a follow-up email, Ben made sure to point out, quote, "All my opinions are my own, of course." After the ride, he kindly gave us a tour of the cars on display in the Mini Visitor Center, which included, of course, a Morris Minor, because both the original Mini and the earlier Minor were designed by the same man, Alec Sigamus. We had a bit of lunch, thanked Ben profusely for what had taken up most of his morning, and then Richard and John got back in our 7-decade-old cars and set out for the next leg, to drive to the British Motor Museum at Gaydon, in the Midlands. Thanks for watching, and stay tuned. You'll see the next adventures shortly.